I used to listen to good podcasts and everything was fine, but now I listen to this podcast because I've lost my mind. My gym partner's a podcast. My gym partner's a podcast. Yeah!
Bull shark, porcupine, I don't know what. Doing this podcast's a pain in the...
Pretty bird, pretty bird, pretty girt, pretty girt.
Ay, qué chula.
God.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, Gert. What's that? It's the real Gert.
Yeah. She sounds normal.
Sorry about last podcast. You see, it got hijacked by this fucking, stupid clone. I was there, you can probably hear, muffled noises throughout the entire recording. That was probably me trying to get out of the closet, because, I was locked in there. Yeah. That's been dealt with, though.
Yeah.
I've taken care of it.
We hauled her right quick to the clone orphanage where she belongs.
She'll never hurt anyone again.
She'll never, ever hijack this podcast. She'll never take this thing that I care so much about. And don't make any mistakes at.
And isn't it something we care about because, it just goes to show these 2 episodes were pretty good.
Yeah, I actually liked these episodes. They were funny. I had a good chuckle. I always like it when I sit down and I laugh at this show. I don't want to hate it. I don't sit here going, I hope I'm miserable throughout the entirety of the episode.
When I watch an episode of My Gym Partner's a Monkey, I don't come into it with a feeling of hate. I come into it with a neutral perspective.
Open mind.
An open mind, because this show, like anything else, it can vary, it can change. I believe that people can change. Why not Monkey Show?
Yeah, so welcome to My Gym Partner's a podcast, everybody.
Yeah,
this is
welcome.
A podcast where, monkey butt, right?
Yeah. In our first episode, Jake takes a day off. That's the name of the episode.
It's Jake's day off, much like the famed movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. And so we open on Adam lovingly packing his lunch for the school day.
So this is how it happens each day. It's not his mother packing his lunch. It's him, and he has to remember to bring it and
Mm-hmm.
pack it. So this is what I was thinking a lot earlier. Why he probably forgets his lunches. Because
he probably he comes. Oh God, I bet Adam Lyon, when he comes home at night, he's just exhausted and immediately falls asleep, and he sleeps in way too late. So usually by the time he wakes up, it's just it's almost time to go to school. So he has to get ready, and he just can't pack his lunch. I guess I feel for him now.
Here's my theory on it.
that might change soon.
My theory is this, because as he's packing his lunch, he gets a phone call from his best friend in the whole world, Jake Spider Monkey, who's talking on a banana phone. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny. And and he starts, I guess, rambling off about stuff. And I here's my theory. Because Jake is oh, let's play Hooky. I'm going to play Hooky. What do you think of that, Adam?
Well, he does. It's not Jake who says it. He's I think I'm going to take a day off. And Adam's
Hooky is 300 old years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Adam's you're going to play Hooky? And Jake's Adam, nobody under the age of 300 uses the word Hooky.
What I don't enjoy about this phone conversation is that it's a split screen, and we see Jake, and he's just picking at his feet, and then he stuffs one of them into his mouth at one point, just sucks on it.
I wrote here in my notes, toe suck.
Great to hear.
because that was the quickest way I think I could jot that information down. I didn't want to spend too much time writing, so I just wrote toe suck. That's what
that conveys it.
Yeah. And after that, like, Jake sort of, goads him on more. It's just like, hey, Adam, you want to do it? You want to do it? And Adam goes into a very long-winded meta joke that I think we all got a little bit of appreciation out of, because it addressed just how not boring Adam's school life is.
I love this bit because it's very self-aware. I think we've had points where the show was self-aware of Adam's like rantiness. This one, it's kicked up to 11, where Jake immediately hangs up on Adam as he's getting into this rant, but Adam doesn't notice, so he keeps going on about it, how his school life is anything but boring. I have to survive, and we get constant fade-outs of him, like, ranting at Jake, but he's not there on the phone. Yeah,
like he's still This is why he always forgets his lunch, because Jake calls him every morning and like gets him worked up, and then Adam starts like ranting to nobody for like a good 30 minutes, and he's like, shit, I gotta go to school.
He rants so hard he starts crouching in a fetal position, wishing that his school was boring. Oh god. Oh
he's
god.
Like crying.
I wish
my school was boring. I wish my school was boring.
And cut to Miss Chameleon's drama class. There's a nice poster of William Shakespeare's hamster on the left of the door. That's a fun little gag.
Hey, do you get it? Like,
no.
It's like Hamlet.
Oh!
But
actually,
it's like a hamster, because it's like a animal school?
I didn't put that together. Before we got to this section, I think we should just make it a thing now where we read what was on the sign. And,
the school sign?
On the school sign it was all llama drama tonight.
That's a bad one. I'm gonna give that one a 2 out of 10.
They didn't try.
And not even a little bit.
But I mean, like, I guess it's better than, like, the one that Niall discovered.
If you lived here, you'd already be at school. Like, thanks.
I need that on a shirt.
But, immediately after Adam saying chanting to himself in his fetal position that he wished he was in the boring school, we cut to Miss Chameleon talking about the ancient Greeks and how they were deemed like one of the first civilizations to develop what we know today as drama, which really brought me back to drama class in middle school. That was a harsh flashback.
I'm so sorry. That must have been really traumatic for you.
It must have been really hard remembering middle school.
It's
middle
alright.
School drama, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe Renee was a theater kid. Ugh.
Wow.
It was only for 3 years, and I never even
Renee,
got to sing.
Hey Renee, why don't you do a monologue for us? Yeah, dance for us. do a number. Do a jig.
Hey, sing. I Wanna Be the Champion.
I don't know that song.
You know that Queen song, I wanna be the champion
That's
of
not
the world. Sing Fiddler on the Roof.
If I were a rich man.
Every day, I sink lower and lower. My opinion of humanity sinks lower and lower. Miss Chameleon.
Hey Renee, just be thankful you weren't a theater kid when like Hamilton was. Oh, I bet you Miss Chameleon would have a poster. It would be like Hamilton, but it'd be like Hamsterton.
Or it'd be like Hamilton, like it's like a pig.
Yeah.
Like Pig Hamilton, like ham. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. Hey, do you get it, Renee?
Jake tries to bother Adam through the window as Adam's
He's
like...
flying!
I didn't get to make this point where Adam like immediately after wishing to be in a boring school, he's like, "Oh God, this is boring. I hate this."
I think about Greek theater. What? That's the real tragedy.
and Jake is just like ethereally floating through the window, not through,
Look
but like
at him.
by the window.
Flying.
He keeps going like back and forth through the window, and it's like,
And Adam is like very humorously like, "No, I don't want to get in trouble." He's sweating, his eyeballs are straining. He's like,
Please.
I won't let him trick me."
He's gonna try and trick me.
it's like, I'm not gonna get in trouble today. I'm not gonna get in trouble today.
But Jake wins out by doing his, as established before in the sleepover episode, his stellar Principal Pixie Frog impression.
Oh yeah, he does just like the most spot on one, better than anybody. Probably better than Principal Pixie Frog even sounds. He makes an announcement because he swiped Principal Pixie Frog's scooter and megaphone, and he's like, "Adam, come to the principal's office," and Miss Chameleon makes him go, and then Adam is out of the class, and Jake just kind of like takes him, like, I'm gonna show you all the finer things in life, Adam.
All the friend. Hidden spots of
It's like, wow.
CDMS.
Wow, this is exactly like the episode of Martin Mystery where the
No,
girl
it's
gets
not.
her teeth taken.
We're not talking about that episode of Martin Mystery. That's neither
Why
here
are
or
we talking about
there.
that Martin Mystery?
Because of the episode of My Gym Partner's a Monkey where Adam Lyon got taken, reminding me of how that girl got her teeth gotten taken.
Oh, I see.
That was neither
That
here
makes
nor
sense.
there.
Cinematic parallels, they're the same.
You just wanted to talk about Martin Mystery. That's it's got nothing to do. Stick with the program.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
stick with the
what?
program.
So what if I wanted to take about Martin Mystery?
But come on, there's something really funny here. There's we cut to Principal Pixie Frog's office, where his dialogue parallels Jake's, where Jake's trying to excuse him taking the scooter, but like Principal Pixie Frog knows that you gotta take this puppy out on a ride. This fine thoroughbred of automotive engineering. And
This
he's
fine
like,
horse of a vehicle.
Yeah, so Principal Pixie Frog in turn is like, "Okay, I'll be right back, Miss Warthog. I'm gonna go, take my ride out. It needs some exercise. This fine-tuned machine."
I don't
This
care.
hog.
Yeah, Miss Warthog is funny. I love her. She's just like, "I don't care." Like,
I don't care.
but then he's like furious to discover that his precious scooter is missing, and he's like, "Oh, what happened?" And Miss Warthog,
I swear I will find the evidence I need to take
like it's like frothing at the mouth, and and then Miss Warthog gives him like a note that Jake left, like that says, "I'm just taking it out for a ride. Don't worry about me." And Principal Pixie Frog's like, "Oh, well, I kind of wanted to like."
Oh, I
figure
wanted
out
to
who-
solve the mystery.
Yeah.
The Marvin mystery.
No.
Wee, wee, wee. Is that how the Martin Mystery theme song went? It was kind of spacey? Probably.
So Principal Pixie Frog vows he's going to destroy Jake Spider Monkey once and for all, and he says, "Hand me my stun gun."
And Mrs. Warthog's like, you don't have that.
Hand me
Hand
my
me
battle
my
axe.
battle axe, yeah.
Then she gives him, "Here's a thumbtack and a rubber band."
I thought that was really cute.
She does not have any regard for Principal Pixie Frog. He is a child to her.
He is nothing to her. He's a speck on the ground to Miss Warthog.
Principal Pixie Frog is good to her. We should be saying that. Principal Pixie Frog doesn't make her work.
Well,
It's true.
that's because he knows he can't, no matter what.
It's true.
But this episode really has a lot of funny moments with Principal Pixie Frog. They went all out with him, and I love it. He's like,
We get like good characterization from him, like
We
the
get-
whole episode.
we get
It isn't
good
just a
characterization. We get a lot of good animation from him, and like other like aspects. But I like this bit where he gets the thumbtack and he's like, "I'm coming after you, Jake Spider Monkey!"
Like pointing it in the air like a sword. We cut back to Jake and Adam is like, "Why are you like essentially playing hooky at school? Like at school? That's like really lame." And Jake's like, "What? It's not lame. No, this is cool."
It's just like, it's not lame. This is great. This is like exclusive Charles Darwin like middle school experience. Yeah, like this is like something completely new. It's school in a different perspective.
Yeah, and he takes him into this giant hole in the wall, huh? And they go down some stairs, and meanwhile, just keep in mind that they're still on Principal Pixie Frog's scooter while going down these stairs. So it's just like, like trying to go down.
They're gonna destroy Principal Pixie Frog's hog if they keep at it.
And when they get down there, there's a place called Cafe Mildew for the, as Jake puts it, the nocturnals.
I believe it's French. Café Mildew.
Yeah. And Dickie is down there also. He's like one of the background animals you see. He's
Yeah,
like a date with like an owl.
Yeah, that like jazzy owl girl we saw as a background character in the Jungle Guy episode.
I think out of like all the designs of this show, like that's probably one of the cuter ones.
Yeah,
she's
like
one
of the best. They share a kiss with some grubs, a la Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp.
The hall monitor lizard.
Oh, he's a funny gag. I like this bit.
He takes off a tip of his tail and puts it in the tips jar. That's pretty good. So, but Jake and Adam are having a romantic dinner in Cafe Mildew, eating some
like
radioactive mushrooms. Just
yes,
absolutely glowing.
Adam doesn't know that they're radioactive, but Jake is just like, I guess he's immune. I don't know.
Remember our lore? I'm pretty sure like, all the animals are immune to radiation.
Oh yeah, that's right. What if these like mushrooms have something to do with it?
Yeah, because like Jake doesn't seem to mind it at all. He's like, radioactive. This doesn't really mean anything. Like to him, it wouldn't.
Like radios, activity, that has nothing to do with those two things.
Oh, that's a line that I remember throughout. That's a good line.
Adam starts glowing green.
Yeah, so like Jake gives him one because of course Adam is dismissive of the idea of putting a glowing mushroom in his mouth, which, come on, why would you? And he chews it up and he's like, whoa, that's good, and he starts eating just a bunch of them, and as a result of this, glow green.
Yeah.
Jake, these edibles ain't shit. Oh.
Holy shit.
So they decided that it's that's all the fun times they're gonna have in Cafe Mildew, so they like bounce out, and Jake, like, I wrote this down because it was funny to me. He like grabs him and he leaves and he's like, come on, glow boy. Like,
glow boy.
Like totally indifferent to Adam's like
condition.
Yeah, he's like scared. He's like, what's am I gonna be okay?
What funny line that Jake said in response to like Adam's just fear of glowing was, don't worry, it'll go down, it'll like stop soon, or is it eventually?
And cutting here back to Cafe Mildew, we have Principal Pixie Frog after the scene of the crime. Everybody's already vacated, and he's like sniffing the ground like a bloodhound, just like
It looks great. I don't know what they did, but like this animation where he's like on the ground sniffing and like investigating and like emoting and stuff, it looks really good.
Like I'll pay my tributes here to the team behind My Gym Partner's a Monkey. Like, a lot of the time I understand a TV budget, they can't really get away with like a lot of movement. But something I've always admired is that they have some strong drawings. Like, there's a lot of like funny drawings that even like when you pause in between, there's some good stuff. But they went all out with these. There's just like a lot of like several sequences of funny drawings in motion, creating great animation here.
Yeah, I wanted to say, like, it's really cool that they got Studio Bones to do, like, the My Gym Partner's a Monkey, like, segments. Like, that's a really solid, like, active animation that they pulled off.
Yeah,
I
it was
appreciate
good.
their work in Mob Psycho and, like, you know, My Hero Academia, and, like, it was really cool to see them, like, really just pull through for, like, just these scenes.
We were so close to giving a genuine compliment.
So he's like sniffing, he licks the ground, he's like, ugh, and Jake's been here, and he's got that lion kid with him, like, I gotta go get him.
God, I think Principal Pixie Frog referring to Adam as that lion kid is just really funny because he has, like, you know, like, talked to Adam. Like, he talks to him like he knows him. But he was just like, that lion kid. Like, doesn't give a shit.
No, I think it's more in the sense that, like, he's roped that lion kid again, that poor kid, into another one of his harebrained monkey schemes. And he ends this off with, like, and where's this place? Nobody ever takes me anywhere anymore.
Aww.
No one ever includes me.
I just wrote, like, Principal Pixie Frog sad. And
He was sad in the next episode we're going to talk about. He kind of has a moment like this also.
It's just...
He's a lonely
very
man.
lonely man.
It breaks
But
my
you know
heart.
what? You can fix him. That's right, listener. I'm talking right to you. Principal Pixie Frog is single. He's ready to mingle.
Hey, you know,
He's got a job.
Hey, that's
You know,
that's for the next that's for the next episode. We're on Jake's day off right now.
The best thing about Principal Pixie Frog being single, like, in the show, is that he doesn't have to be infected with any of that straight nonsense, and we can just do with him as we please.
Exactly. Now, Adam is still green, and Jake has tied a rope to the scooter and to like a surfboard. No, something like that. Like
Adam's in scuba gear.
It's like a
Yeah.
ski, like a ski thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
water skiing.
water
like, whatever.
skiing.
It's like,
Yeah.
how is this supposed to help cure my greenness? It's like, cure?
It's like, what are you talking about?
I just thought this would be fun. And he just like, in another like great sequence of animation, we have Adam like just like tumbling through the water and stuff. It's a bit of a complicated sequence that I admire here.
Skipping across the water like a stone. And then we get as like he's like doing this, he skips past a guy that we haven't seen in a bit.
Yeah.
Mr. Blowhole.
Mr. Blowhole, which it's funny that he isn't like it's funny that Mr. Blowhole isn't called Mr. Whale.
I think we're long past that conversation.
I mean, like, there's Mrs. Tusk, you know, there's Mr. Hornbill.
I guess there's a couple.
Yeah, you know,
So
they're famous animal names. They don't gotta be just their species.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mr. Blowhole, in a very
you
funny
almost
manner.
called him Mr. Hornbill.
Mr. Hornhole.
No,
Mr. Blowhole is a tattletale. He's a snitch.
He's a snitch. He's just picking up the phone and just like, oh, Principal Pixie Frog. There's something you'll want to see here.
I'm just adding I know you can't do like those noises while you're saying his lines are nice, so I'm helping you out.
Thanks. Yeah, he is patented whale ASMR playing, and we cut to a shot of Principal Pixie Frog on his little cell phone, being like, "Oh, really? Well, that makes me very angry. I guess I'll go with pepperoni instead of anchovies."
And then he's like, wait, I got another call. And then he answers it. And it's just, a bait and switch. And then it's actually Mr. Hole telling him about the situation. So why do you think Mr. Blowhole is such a snitch, such a narc?
I don't know, like...
He makes me think of those suburban moms. Like, that look of his in the shot when he's, like, picking up the phone. Like, just like, you know, like, oh, those kids are playing in my front lawn again. You hooligans, I'll call the police on you!
It's
Mr.
like, I'm going to...
probably does that at his home in the Bayside area or something.
Mr. Blowhole lives in a regular neighborhood. He doesn't live in the ocean or the zoo. He lives in a normal neighborhood.
Miss Jake and Adam kind of are sneaking into Principal Pixie Frog's office, and I like this bit here that they do a time or two where they're like crouched under Miss Warthog's desk, and they're like, okay, we need to find out if Principal Pixie Frog's here. So Jake kind of is like, Mrs. like trying to get the voice, and then he like gets it finally, and he's like, Mrs. Warthog, am I in my office right now? It's just kind of funny. Like, he's like, let me get into it.
It's relatable to all you voice actors out there. Just, you know, they're just funny voice doers.
And Mrs. Warthog, in response to this, is just kind of like, no, you're on like a warpath or something to like kill Jake Spider Monkey with a thumbtack.
That's another ongoing thing. Like they keep referring to like Principal Pixie Frog, like if he's gonna get a hold of him, he's like, they're like, Principal Pixie Frog is gonna kill us. He's gonna like, kill you. Jake.
And they're like legitimately like believed that. Because here at the end here,
I really want to say the joke that's coming up.
Okay.
Let me say the joke when we get to it.
Why don't you just set it up? Tell us what happens next.
Alright, so, in this next scene, it's just kind of like Jake and Adam, they go into Principal Pixie Frog's office, and Jake has a big goof in mind. He's gonna do a classic, I'm gonna take the school's auditory system, and I'm just gonna project myself out there as Principal Pixie Frog. So he does this, and right before he does it, he does something that I remembered slightly, and when I heard it, it killed me, because he sort of like away from the microphone before he starts goes,
whoa, wait, you missed the gag where Adam is like, "What, Jake? What are you doing? We can't do this!" And he just knocks him out with a comical like punching boxing glove on a little extendo thing.
Oh yeah, he killed Adam Lyon before he did this.
Yeah, it was really like jarring. He's like, Jake, do the bonk, like just down. But you go on, Gert.
It's like, silence, human. But Jake just goes, I am the greatest.
Yeah, and that's like a clear like Mike Tyson reference, isn't it?
I guess? Is it a Mike Tyson reference? Because I just thought it was funny.
Muhammad Ali. It was a Muhammad Ali quote. He says, I am the greatest. So, like, that's the whole point of the joke. He boxes Adam out and says, I am the greatest.
Oh, I see. It was because he hit Adam.
Jake starts making everyone do a variation of the hokey pokey, which is not actually the hokey pokey.
The jakey pokey. The nakey jakey, I think it was called.
And he makes everyone do it, including Principal Pixie Frog, who's like standing in the hallway, like looking for them still. And then afterwards, Adam regains consciousness, and he's like, "What happened, Jake? What did you do?" And Jake's like, "Oh, I did you just missed the best joke ever!" And Principal Pixie Frog bursts into the room, and he's furious, and he's like Jake, Adam, the spider monkey. Jumps up on the desk, and they both immediately start like crying and shaking. They're like terrified.
Please don't get me! Don't get me!
Don't kill us!
Like, don't kill us, Mr. Pixie Frog.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah, they start reprimanding him, but he does like one of those where he's like, yelling at them, and then at the very end, and he's like, you know what I learned from you? He's like, well, I learned that sounded all pretty fun, and I want to goof off too.
I want to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and so then they're like, and it cuts to Principal Pixie Frog water skiing just like Adam did earlier, and he's like, "Yes, middle-aged delinquents like on the loose" or something like that.
I also like how Jake and Adam are on the scooter dragging Principal Pixie Frog along, and they just have the awkward deadpan faces.
They look morose. It's like now that like Principal Pixie Frog is like joined in on the like hooliganisms. It's just not as fun because they have to hang out with an authority figure. Hey, there was actually 2 like shots of the school in this episode with the sign visible, and I don't know how they changed it within that day, but that sign said check out our webbed site. That one's funnier.
That's funny.
That's funny. Or do you think there's a person on staff that they just have make those like? And when I say on staff, I mean like on the My Gym Partners and Monkeys staff. I don't mean the Charles Darwin Middle School staff. That like their sole job is, we're gonna need a lot of shots of just like establishing shots of the school. Why don't you just make us like a bunch of these that we can just use whenever? And that was that person's sole job.
Maybe so. Just like all they did was like change like the sign of the front of the school like 300 times.
Well, then that's where the episode ends, and
I think it's the funniest episode in a long time of watching this show on this podcast. It hits a lot of like just like general comedy beats. It has like a nice plot that's easy to follow, that isn't just super fantastical clone saga or anything.
Adam is bearable because he's not like really focused on too much.
He's not focused on too much. He's not just being like ranting. His rantingness even like gets meta joked in the beginning of the episode, gets lampshaded, so that's really funny. And Principal Pixie Frog is the star of the show this episode. He takes it away, and
Principal
my God,
Pixie Frog is a hoot in this episode.
Our next episode is Lupe in Love, and what a lovely episode.
it's pretty good.
It's alright, yeah. This one, I think Jake's Day Alpha is better, but Lupe in Love is good. Is a good one.
Lupe in Love surprised me by not being that bad, and
not being aggressively straight.
Yeah, I mean, it was there was, I wrote towards the end, some straight nonsense, but
but I think it wasn't too focused on, and that was a strength of this episode. It wasn't about the actual romances, but like just the comedy of like the getting into romance in general.
Yeah, that was why this episode was funny. We start out and Jake's got a little parrot on his tail named Orlando.
Now, already, there's something wrong here. I mean,
okay, let's talk about Orlando.
What's up with Orlando, Renee?
Orlando is by all means like just a realistic parrot. We've had jokes. We've seen Jake imitate a parrot before, exactly like how Orlando acts here, and like one would have assumed that would just be how like that'd be a bit weird, but apparently there are parrots that act like this, that don't like speak full sentences, clear sentences like the other animals in this school. They just act like a regular parrot would, and that makes me think. Is Orlando just a regular parrot, but like parrots and like these sort of like animals in general, they can't just talk? So I guess just parrots and like crows and such. Do you think they get lumped in with the animals like that are sapient just because, like, I mean, they show, like, some, like, speech capabilities. Do you think, like,
so you're thinking that, like, because of their, like, the fact that a parrot can talk and a crow can talk, that they're like, oh, well, I guess you got to go to school now, but they're just kind of not quite on the same level as the other students.
Yeah, they're
Charles
basically
Darwin.
the same as our, like, real life, like, parrots and crows, but they're treated to a higher status because of, like, animal rights.
Right. That's potentially true, because Orlando is not very bright. Orlando is a bird. Orlando is just straight up a bird.
Orlando says whatever Orlando hears.
Hello, pretty bird.
Jake makes a funny joke here where he's like, yeah, he's in my debate class, and he's like, just try and debate him, and like Adam's like, okay, and he just keeps saying like, give me evidence, and then like the bird will just be, now you give me evidence. Like,
it's just like, give me an example, and like, stop copying me, that kind of thing.
Well, they don't go that far even. It's just like Adam's just resigned to it. It's like, yeah, he's really great, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good.
And then we cut to Lupe gossiping to this like vulture, this like goth vulture, and at first I just thought this was like one of Lupe's friends. 'Cause she's just like, she's doing the whole like, and then I said to her, and then she said to me, and then, oh no, sister, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. And then she's like, the vulture's like eating like meat, like dried up
carry-on jerky. So
yeah.
That's like roadkill, like just dried up and made into jerky.
Just a rot treat.
And he's chewing so loud he can't even like hear what Lupe's saying.
It's the
like,
classic, like on SpongeBob you hear like on the phone the characters go like
yeah,
like that sort of ant speak. It's pretty funny.
And she's notices him not paying attention, and then says like, are you gonna pay attention to your beautiful girlfriend? It's either me or the meat buster. And I was
right
like,
here,
boyfriend?
Yeah, right here I was like, Lupe has a boyfriend? Like, what? His name's Corey Vulture, by the way.
Yeah, and so
Corey.
So he stops chewing. He's like, "What?" and he's given the ultimatum, and he looks between his carry-on jerky and Lupe, who's like very funnily doing like that sort of stepping. I'm waiting.
The little tappity tap.
Smash cut to Lupe sobbing profusely on.
It's hilarious. She's
Just,
like, ah!
it's loud. It's funny.
Like, Ingrid's trying to help. She's like, well, he was a dumb guy anyway. Don't even worry about it. And she's just like, wait,
his breath smelled like dead meat.
Like old meat, and it's just like,
oh, I loved his musk. Thanks for for putting salt in the wound, Ingrid.
Oh, salt's very antibacterial.
She runs into Jake and Adam's like locker area, who they're still standing over there, and now they're in this like tower position. Like Adam's at the bottom, Jake's on top of him, and then Orlando's on top of Jake, and Lupe looks pretty bad off, and they're like, oh, what's wrong, Lupe? And she's just sad and beaten up because she just rammed into a locker. And Orlando, who had previously been looking like in a reflection of himself, says, pretty bird.
He's like knocking at the locker, like trying to get back to the mirror. Saying, pretty bird. And Lupe notices Orlando and is like, oh, Adam, who's your handsome friend?
She immediately assumes that those pretty birds are for her.
I think this part really got me, because I think she says actually like, who's your highly intelligent friend?
Yeah.
And then Adam it's like she asks Adam, and Adam looks up and it's Jake waving.
Yeah. Just play the stupid little like ape noises as he's waving down at Adam, and Adam just like looks up and he looks sad.
like,
It's like
and then, Lupe, eventually he's like, I'm talking about the bird, and then they introduce Orlando, and she just kind of, like, takes him.
takes him in her talons, and they're already at a romantic dinner. Just, whoosh.
Yeah, in the lunchroom.
God, Orlando was just taken. It's so scary. Just picked up.
And so they're having a nice romantic dinner in the lunchroom of grubs. Orlando has a spoon that he's looking at, calling himself a pretty bird. And Lupe is just like, oh, it's so nice.
Bandito! It's... I guess we know what kind of girlfriend Lupe is. She wants constant praise and attention.
I mean, who doesn't? Really?
Yeah.
She force feeds him some worms. Like, she just shoves them into his mouth.
Who isn't a Lupe? Am I right?
Am I right or am I right? Ladies, am I right?
Ladies. Hey, ladies.
You are so right. But the gang looks afar in their own table. Windsor's just like, their love is intoxicating, or something like that.
And Slips is just like, yeah, it's like really quiet and nice at our table.
Now that Lupe's not yelling all the time.
This is way better. Alright, now I can eat in peace, dude.
they all are. Ingrid says something like, oh, Adam, you're such a matchmaker. Like, and Jake immediately gets, like, an idea.
Seizes the opportunity. He's like, he's willing to sell his services.
Jake starts seeing pigeons.
He pulls like a pulley thing, and like a sign comes down that's like, Adam, the matchmaker, like
the love
guru.
doctor is in.
Yeah. And everyone starts lining up, like it's like an immediate line, and I already like immediately saw Mr. Hornbill in the line. I'm like,
Mr. Hornbill is second in the line. I didn't notice that Coach Gill is there as well.
Oh, she is? I didn't even notice.
Wow. Well, I hope for the best for her.
Because I don't think we see her in the rest of the episode.
No,
like, not on
we
the boat.
don't at all. But
So
Henry Armadillo is the first in line. He's like, please, I need help filling the lonely void in my life.
Please save me from this lonely pit of despair.
Adam is really worried. He's like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, it just kind of happened at random.
I'm not a miracle worker.
Yeah, which I like this, like, I like Adam saying I'm not a miracle worker immediately after hearing Henry Armadillo ask for, like, help.
And then immediately after that, Jake's is like, yeah, you know that, and I know that, but I mean, if you could get Lupe a date somehow, you can make miracles happen.
Yeah, like, you could do this for anybody. Let's do it at random.
Yeah, they decided that's the best algorithm because Lupe and Orlando was so happenstance that it was just, let's just do it that way now. So Henry gets paired up with, is she like a wolf or something?
I think she's a coyote because
okay, that makes sense.
Armadillos, coyotes.
Yeah, we have the same joke twice in a row here, where Henry is like, well, who'd have known I would be paired with someone who could, like, chew through my shell.
And eat me.
It's what I always wanted. And then she pours salt on Henry. And then we get James Ant, who...
Yeah, James Ant, we haven't seen him in a bit.
And we see him holding a tongue, and it's like, we know where this is going. And he gets swallowed by the anteater.
That he was paired with.
I would never be with a gal like you, but if Adam Lyon says it's right, then I guess I have no room to argue.
Jake and Adam are just kind of like reflecting on their profits, and Adam, I think, says like, I didn't know people would be this like desperate to like find someone. Like, they're just kind of going along with what I say. Ingrid shows up and she's like, who do you think I would date, Adam? Wink, 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 blink, blink. Yeah.
And of course Jake comes in and is like, hey, that's not free. That's not free. You can't just ask that to our love doctor.
Yeah, he's like, if you want to know, get on the love cruise.
And we get like a big cruise on the very little river that goes through the school. I I really love this bit. This just gigantic cruise that goes through the whole school on this little tiny river. It's imagery I've remembered, and it's a good joke. It's a good taking advantage of the scenery.
I've always really enjoyed like things like this in cartoons. Like whenever I was like little, that sort of like fantastical sort of thing always like really just like, I don't know, it like set off lights in my brain. Like having like something like a ship going through like a hallway, or like, you know, like an Ed and Eddie where they built like a city out of boxes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like just exaggerating the bounds of reality that like fits a kid's imagination. This is what the realms of fantasy should be in this sort of show. And I like how Windsor's the boat captain. He has like slips in a little lifeguard outfit, and he's like, roll out, little buddy.
Yeah, little buddy. That was really funny. Slips is my little buddy.
And so they're on the love cruise. Principal Pixie Frog with a rose is like, I couldn't agree more, Jake. They all join in on the love cruise. We get a shot of everybody shaking their booties on the deck. Mr. Hornbill's dancing with Miss Chameleon on a stick. That's surprising.
Yeah, that's a bad pairing.
Yeah, that's a really bad pairing. They're just not compatible for each other. For one thing, Miss Chameleon's a lesbian.
I think she was just on the stick and he started swinging her around and she was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's really probably not even dating him. It's just...
it really says something that all the other pairings that Adams matched are predators and prey, and then we have Mr. Hornbill and Miss Chameleon.
Really makes you think.
What am I supposed to be thinking, actually?
that Mr. Hornbill's a predator.
Oh!
Lupe is sad suddenly. She shows up as Jake and Adam are like basking in their success.
We're really riding this gravy boat. Gravy boat.
Gravy boat.
And Lupe's like, Orlando left me, and everyone on the ship immediately is like, what? Excuse me?
Wow, Adam Line, I guess you aren't as fucking smart as we thought you were.
Guess we really can't trust your love advice, and everyone wants their money back. The ship crashes.
The ship crashes into the exit door of the school, and we get a shot of Windsor and Slip at the helm, and Windsor's like, wow, really thought we could clear that.
Which is a really good joke, like, coming back from just the visual of a big ship trying to fit through a tiny door.
It's very good.
Yeah, I thought we could... Dang.
So, Lupe's professing her problems on how Orlando left her, about how he's singing the praises of another bird, and everybody's crying. Principal Pixie Frog's rose wilts, and he's like, well, if those two lovebirds can't make it, what hope is there for any of us? And he jumps off the cruise!
Yeah, he just jumps off the boat! Like... It was a really powerful moment, in my opinion. We just see, like, so much coming through Principal Pixie Frog. Like, the rose wilting especially is just, like...
It's very indicative of his character and how much stake he put on this love cruise. And it's just all been shattered in an instant.
I guess we'll never find love.
And immediately after, the boat just sinks into the river and everybody goes out on land. Henry's like, wow, shoot, if Adam was wrong about that, I guess he was wrong about my date too. We get a zoom in of an x-ray shot of the anteater girl, James' aunt, on a little boat in her stomach, and it's like,
yeah. Is he okay?
No. He's in a very bad situation.
But he always gets out all right. Don't worry. Don't you worry, sunshine. I'll be out of here in a jiffy.
James Land is crafty.
They want their money back, and Adam, because Adam promised them a money back guarantee, and Jake's like, why did you do that? And he's like, well, I wanted to be honest. Just give them their money back, Jake. He's like, how do you think we got the boat?
It's like, oh shit.
Oh.
It's like Adam, you shouldn't have offered this like really genuine thing that's like good for dirty money. You've been making dirty money. You can't have like this clean offer.
They decide to get to the bottom of who Orlando is seeing. They find him. She's like, "Oh, I heard him whispering sweet nothings in over here, and it's the boys' bathroom." So Adam peeks in, and he's like, "Well, Lupe, he is seeing someone himself." And then he opens it more, and Orlando's looking in the mirror and going, "Pretty bird, pretty bird."
You mean he never thought I was pretty?
Aw, Lupe. Oh, it's okay. He's not really that bright,
Yeah, I guess not.
And then she catches on fire, gets like so angry. She's like, he never thought I was pretty. Oh my god, I'm so angry. And then
I'm gonna kill him.
From nowhere, the goth vulture goes, I think you're pretty, and we zoom out, and he's like still sitting on the tree, still eating
that
meat.
carry-on jerky.
Yeah, and she's like, she goes back to him and is like, oh, I knew I could count on you. So what? You love me more than that meat? And that's the same guy before where he looks at the meat, looks at her, looks back at the meat like he can't decide.
And everything's
we don't
back
get
to
a
normal.
Yeah, we don't get a resolution to that, but it's everything's back to normal, and Jake's just like nudging Adam, like, maybe we can get you a girlfriend, we can dredge up the cruise from the river, you and me, and some hot ladies together.
And some hot ladies,
you and me, and yeah, sure, hot ladies.
and then he makes Adam pay $5 for
and then there's a ending sequence.
The ending sequence, which I think is a reference to a Love Cruise show, I think.
The Love Boat?
The Love Boat, something like that, which was an actual, show.
Like a really old show. Like, nobody watching this cartoon would get the reference.
Yeah, it just looks funny.
Yeah, it's just
we got images of, the Windsor, the helmsman, Adam Lyon, or your ship's doctor, Slip Spiceman, your yeoman purser, and Jake Spider Monkey, dressed as who I assume to be the host of the show, in a little suit. He looks dapper.
It's a funny ending. But yeah, that was Lupe in Love, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun with both these episodes.
Yeah, they went by painlessly.
I think these two episodes really show the strengths of this show and what it can really do if they just cut out the fat, focus on the general humor, of some quick gags, some real character interactions and character humor, and just don't have anything overcomplicating it. Just some nice like this. All you need is a simple plot that is easy to follow and that can bring a lot of funny antics.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And
no
I wouldn't
clones.
Have it any other way.
Ba-da-bum, ba-dum. Wow. Well, let's look at some comments.
All right.
I'll start us off. So we have a comment from Agent Emerald. They say, I've been meaning to drop this for a couple episodes, but I've got a fledgling theory based on a few offhand mentions and watching a few out of context clips. Laszlo is an existential opposite to Jake. While Jake is a misbehaving student who grabs for attention and power, Laszlo is a model camp student who often works to squeeze the most out of the camp experience for not just himself, but everyone in Camp Kidney, and sometimes even the Squirrel Scouts. P.S. Also, you guys referenced Metal Gear Solid and didn't make it the twin Jakes joke. I shake my head.
I'm an
Yeah,
idiot.
Gert.
Can't believe it.
Didn't even make a twin Jakes joke.
Well, that is my double's fault.
Yeah, that's right. It was the clone's fault.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if I were
you
actually
haven't
there,
made any mistakes at all.
If I were there, I would have actually said that. So,
But
No.
Now Laszlo.
yeah, about Laszlo, I actually mentioned this in a bonus episode where we talked about Jake Spider Monkey with our good friend Shirley and Gert. You were there, and I do wholeheartedly agree with this. It's funny, but I only learned just a bit ago that Laszlo is also specifically a spider monkey.
He
really?
is.
Yes.
Really?
I thought he was some other obscure kind of South American primate, but apparently he is a spider monkey. The Camp Laszlo wiki confirms it, and so I guess Cartoon Network just had to think about chaotic orange spider monkeys in their cartoons. But I do agree with this assessment that they have a lot in common, but they all also are contrasting with each other. The yin and the yang. The good forces of chaos and the bad forces of chaos. And
I always find myself I feel like I could be friends with Laszlo. As a kid, I was like, Laszlo seems like a nice guy. With Jake, I feel like I'd be scared of him. I wouldn't know what to do. He's too chaotic.
Jake is I feel like if Jake were real, it would be just, those high definition paintings of Jake, except all the time. Because he would be real.
I'm sad I never, or at least I never got to see one of those realistic 3D models that people do of cartoon characters, but for Jake, where he just looks like a stout little man with a lot of hair sticking out. It's missed opportunity, folks.
I would love to see just an HD hyper-realistic render of Jake Spider Monkey. I think that would maybe someday, but when that day comes, I'll be waiting for it.
Let's take it to the next question from our good friend Paintress CP. They write, I'm glad we're really digging into Adam here. Even the really funny episode with the magic trout was getting on my nerves after a bit because of how constantly stubborn he is for no real reason. He's an incredible stick in the mud. I'll defend him when he deserves it, but I need him to improve. P.S. Gert's fishbowl audio wasn't too bad after a bit. It gave atmosphere to the piece. And to add on this, I feel like he may be a bit similar to Frank Grimes from The Simpsons in that way. Someone who refuses to give in to the nonsense and paid the ultimate price. And if I really am onto something here, then I really worry for the future of the lion child.
Great comment here, Seat. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you, Seat.
That was my main thing about last week when I was getting on Adam a bit. He is an incredible stick in the mud. That's why I feel like some of these episodes that we saw today were a bit better because he was still a bit of a stick in the mud, especially I don't want to, we're gonna get in trouble, but he was much more easily persuaded and pushed along to do things rather than just outright be no, I'm not doing it, and then not doing it.
He was actually a part of the narrative and facing consequences. He was being part of the joke, not Ain't Too Proud to Egg, where he was thrown up on, called a lousy father, but that was it for him being part of the joke, and for the rest of the time he just complained. But this was a good balance here, and
yes.
I think an apt comparison is Mac from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah,
where he is also a stick in the mud, compared to Blue. And they got their own yin and yang thing going, where they fill each other's needs. But he's a kid. He knows how to have fun. He knows how to go along with jokes and stuff. He
still is able to have fun, and just do things.
Well, because like he was
that are entertaining.
He was a fun kid. Like he made Blue, and so when Blue would get into some crazy stuff, like Mac would, kind of be the more like responsible one. But occasionally he found himself tempted to do a stupid thing every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Like he had fun doing those things. But yeah, that's a good comparison. And on that note, with Seep's comment, Seep drew us some fan art. Woo!
Yeah. Oh, this is some really great fan art here.
Fan art of us being ursipered by
by our guests. So this is a really fun picture. It's Renee, me, and Gert all tied up, and Seep, who, if you remember, was our season 1 finale guest. And then we got Shirley and Allie, who are the ladies behind the scene. And then Niles, little frog guy, and they're taking over the podcast now. It's their show. And you can find that piece. We'll link it in our description like we always do. It's up on the screen right now, but you can go to @PaintraCP, CEAPEA.
And it might just be a future event. We don't know. I might be bullshitting you, but
yeah, who knows?
Isn't it a fun concept though?
Yeah. Ooh. Gert, will you read us our last comment?
Yeah. This is a comment from Levi De Jong. Hi, thank you for featuring my Sona on the show. They're an owl finch. More finch than owl, but very goth nonetheless.
Right. Yeah, this was the artist behind the owl finch drawing. My gym partner is a monkey, Sona, that was featured last week. And I'm glad we know now. There's species.
I'm sorry we didn't know enough about birds, but I learned a lot about birds in Lupe and Love.
I may not know much about birds, but I know I liked this art.
So thank you, guys.
So thank you, Levi De Jong, and that's been my Gym Partners, a podcast. Pretty good episode today, huh?
Yeah. So our next episodes are going to be Carney Crazy and Up and Atom.
Carney Crazy.
Looks like we're gonna get a little clowny here, folks.
Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Hope you have a great day, night, evening, morning, afternoon. My name is Lucy.
I'm Gert.
And I'm Krusty the Clown. See you next time, kitties.